I'm Elle. I'm 1/3 of this channel and I'm also the editor. Part of why we decided to make this channel is because we're stuck at home in quarantine during the pandemic here. And since we all need a bit of a distraction with the news and everything that's happening and all of the insanity going on surrounding coronavirus, what better way than to bury your head in a book and pretend none of this is happening? That's why today I'm bringing you my top 10 recommendation of books, my favorites right now, and I hope that you will check some of them out and be able to be distracted a bit. Anyways, let's get into the list. Number 10. It's The Leviathan by Scott Westerfield. This is a really fun adventure, sort of history, sci-fi, fantasy thing going on about Alec and Darren, and they go on some adventures and have a lot of fun. Part of why I chose this book is also because it has some really awesome illustrations in it. I hope you can see those, but anyways, there's a whole bunch of them throughout the book. If I can find some more. They're placed both in text, and then there are some big panel photos that are, pictures that are really awesome, that really help bring the book to life. Number 9, we're gonna go down the historical book route. This is The Keeper of the Bees by Jean Stratton Porter. So, very well-known author, old book. But this is a really good book. It's about essentially a man who was in World War I, and he got injured, and he's trying to heal and get better from some of his injuries, and he has some adventures and meets some cool people along the way, and it's really a really good book. I highly recommend it. Number 8, The White Darkness by Geraldine McGaughran. I don't know how to pronounce her name, but anyways, The White Darkness is a really great book. As you can see, it won the Prince Award for Excellence in Young Adult Fiction. It's about Sim, who goes to the Antarctic with her Uncle Victor, and a lot of very interesting things happen. It's an awesome book. Number 7, Angel Isle by Peter Dickinson. So this one is technically a sequel to another book called The Rope Maker. It doesn't feature the same characters, but they happen in the same world, so they can be read independently of one another, which is why I'm recommending the second book in the series rather than the first one in the series. And it's a very fantasy, magic, awesome book here. I really enjoy this one, and personally I like it better than the first one, which is why I'm giving this one the recommendation. Book number 6 is The Beginning Place by Ursula K. Le Guin. Again, another well-known author, fantasy, sci-fi. She's the one who wrote the Earthsea trilogies, but this is just an individual book. It's a really good book, and I think she really encapsulates that desire to want to get away from everything and escape into fantasy from real life, and how connecting with other people in real life helps you combat that need to escape. Really good, highly recommend. Okay, number 5. This is actually the only non-fiction book I'm recommending in my list today. This is actually, it's just a black cover, but it's My Life in the Mafia by Vincent Teresa. And so Vincent Teresa was obviously in the Mafia. It's a nonfiction book. And he was one of the first big people to essentially lark on what the Mafia was doing and to, give the FBI all of the insider information. And it goes into sort of his life in the Mafia and how he ended up turning on them and all of that really fascinating stuff. So if you're into like mob stories or just biographies and stuff, it's really good. To be honest, I don't know where you'd be able to get your hands on this, but if you can, I would definitely snatch it up. Number 4. This is A Prisoner of Birth by Jeffrey Archer. Jeffrey Archer is one of my favorite authors. I had a hard time trying to pick which one of his books I would recommend, but I finally decided on this one. He just writes sort of suspenseful, very page-turner type novels, and this one is really good. It's about a man who goes to jail for a crime he didn't commit, and it's really a good read, definitely. It looks like a big one, but it's a page turner, so it's actually a pretty fast read, but it's a good one. Number 3 is The Game by Diana Wynne Jones. So Diana Wynne Jones is also one of my other favorite authors. And again, I had a hard time trying to pick which book I would recommend. This one is definitely a shorter book, more a novella type, but it's a very fantastical, magical fantasy. Diana Wynne Jones is also the author of Howl's Moving Castle, so if you're familiar with the movie or with that book, this is in a similar vein, and I think you'd really like it. Number 2, The Particular Sadness of Lemon Cake. This is a book I picked up in an airport on my way home. I was flying. I didn't have anything to read, so I picked up this book. And I read it in the first hour and a half of the plane flight, and I didn't know what I thought about it. It was a little bit odd, and I just didn't know how I felt about it. And then 3 days later, I was still thinking about this book. And that's when I knew that it was really awesome and that I really enjoyed the story here. It's a very unique story about families and relationships and how we relate to each other. And it's just a wonderful book. And I would, again, highly recommend. And then number 1, the big final book that is my absolute favorite. And this is one that will stay in the top spot. This one never moves. It's The Little Prince by Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. And it's obviously about the little prince, and he goes and has different adventures on different planets, and he learns a lot about people, and it's a really good book. It's philosophical and heartwarming and just a really amazing read. So that was my book recommendation list for you, my top 10 faves. I hope that you'll check some of them out and that you'll really enjoy them. And yeah, I hope that you find some fun stuff to do during quarantine. Anyways, bye!